Ratalaika Games have been one of the most prolific indie games publishers over the last few years. They burst onto the scene in 2014 with their first Android release, and spent the first couple of years releasing their own games until 2016, when they shifted focus onto porting indie PC games to consoles. Since that time, they've released over 60 games, with most of their ports coming out for the PS Vita, PS4, NintendoSwitch and Xbox One. Super Destronaut DX is one such game. Released by Ratalaika back in the summer of 2018, this indie arcade shoot-'em-up hit digital stores for all 4 of their supported platforms, but for the sake of this video, I've taken a closer look at the PS Vita version. As you can see, your immediate thought would scream one thing: Space Invaders. It's more than just a modern reworking of the old retro classic though. Instead of just a lick of paint and modern sound, Super Destronaut DX has been completely reworked from the ground up. So much so that apart from the opening visuals, there's very little left in common with Taito's classic 1978 coin-op. In fact, the game has been stripped back to basics. Apart from the core left-right shoot mechanic and a main UFO target to shoot, very little remains the same. So what's different in Super Destronaut DX from its obvious source of inspiration? The core gameplay looks the same as Space Invaders at first, a grid of aliens at the top and a turret-style weapon at the bottom that is limited to left and right movement. Aliens are destroyed by shooting, although now some need multiple shots to destroy them. But that's where the similarities end. Here you can fire off shots rapidly, removing the strategic element from the Taito original. Instead, the strategy has been replaced with faster paced frantic arcade action. There are several distinct types of aliens, each with their own specific types of weaponry that they unleash upon you. Not all of them appear on each level, so you don't always know what you're up against, and the attack waves are randomly created. Some waves also feature a larger UFO as part of the grouping. These take more hits to destroy, but once you do, it provides you with a power-up. These only last briefly, but give you a range of different weapons to help you along, including homing missiles, extra shots, and more. As an added bonus, for the first few seconds after collecting them, the game is slowed down, giving you a little time to relax and get your breath back. Finally, there are the greys. Shaped like certain characters from a certain old arcade game, these float down in the background and need to be avoided at all costs. Points are earned from shooting them, but they are almost impossible to destroy. There are 4 main game modes on offer in Super Destronaut DX. Classic mode gives you 3 lives and you simply have to clear as many levels as you can. It's arcade action in its purest form, where the main objective is to keep beating your personal best score. Challenge mode is more interesting. 30 different challenges are presented to the player that need to be completed. You still have 3 lives at your disposal, but the challenges are incredibly varied. From reaching a target score, clearing a set number of levels, acquiring a predetermined number of power-ups, each is different to the one before it, providing an incredible amount of diversity. Time attack is next, and this is a non-stop score mode. Here you have an unlimited number of lives and just 90 seconds to get as many points as possible. Finally is the hardcore mode. This is for those of you who think you have a chance at proving how good you really are. No time limits, just 1 life, and you have to play the game normally and last as long as you can. Visually, this feels like a game that could have come straight from Llamasoft with its neon-infused, bold and bright graphics. From the vector backgrounds reminiscent of early 80s Atari arcade classics to the main in-your-face graphics of the main game, it's not something you will forget. Sometimes there can be so much on screen at once that it can be hard to concentrate, but that only came with the territory back in the 80s and 90s. Each weapon fired at you is colour coded depending on its effect and is matched to the alien that fires it, which I thought was a great touch. After the first few games you'll soon learn these, so you'll be able to prepare yourself for what is coming on each level. But the million-dollar question is whether or not Super Destronaut DX is any good. All of the addictive qualities that made Space Invaders a classic are still here, but increasing the pace has intensified the gameplay. There's enough action to satisfy arcade junkies in the classic mode to keep most gamers happy. Controls feel responsive, and the only time you may be frustrated are where the greys appear on screen. Occasionally these appear next to smaller non-interactive greys that are just part of the background, making them hard to distinguish from one another. One final point, and I don't know if you'd consider this a downside or not. With the PS Vita and PS4, for those of you who are obsessed with trophy hunting, the platinum for Super Destronaut DX can be obtained in around 30 minutes. If you're the type of gamer who wants to get trophies as quickly as possible, then it's a great way to boost your collection quickly and easily. But for those of you expecting a long-term challenge, then you won't find that here. An enhanced physical version of the game, Super Destronaut DX Intruders Edition, was released by East Asia Soft for the PS Vita. This contained additional challenges, new game modes and new music. It was limited to a production run of just 1,000 copies, but this has now sold out worldwide. As with all Ratalaika releases, this is on sale digitally for a pocket money price of just £3.99. With the PlayStation, that will get you the PS Vita and PS4 versions, as it's a cross-buy title. At that price, it's exceptional value for money. As a retro styles arcade game, it might not be meant for longer gaming sessions, but it's ideal for a quick adrenaline fix. Of the 4 systems it's released for, I'd say that this is best suited for the Vita and Switch, and gaming on the go in particular, and it's one you don't want to miss. For those who do want review scores, this is coming right up.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click on the like button and leave us a comment below. Also, spare a moment to share this video on Twitter, Facebook and all your social media pages. To get updates on all of our latest videos delivered straight to your inbox, subscribe now using the link on the screen.